Hi, my name is Andrew and this is the Real Wealth Exchange. If you're watching this, then you probably want to make the biggest possible difference to a big group of people. About a third of the world, or just under that, is poor. So you want to help poor people to not be poor. And that will change their lives in an unbelievable number of ways. But to make such an important difference, we can't just throw our money at poor people. We don't want to just give some food or a donation, because tomorrow those poor people will be in the same situation. What we do want is to create an opportunity for poor people to help themselves so that they can put food on their own table. We don't want to go and feed other people's kids. We want to help poor people to feed their own children. We don't believe in dependence on handouts. We love to enable people to create their own future. We want to do a giving that has a realness about it. We want our giving to last. So I'm really glad that you're watching this video, because you and I, we can give poor people an opportunity that very few others do. We can do this by creating a job, and we can give that job to people that really want it. The biggest cause of poverty is not that people are lazy or uneducated. All of those things do count, but the biggest cause of poverty is that people can't get a job or even create a job for themselves. The greatest challenge for poor people is unemployment. This is why the United Nations says unemployment is at the core of poverty. When we can create real jobs, then we can create lasting change. So that's cool. But how do we do it? In other words, how does the Real Wealth Exchange create employment? Well, the Real Wealth Exchange, or RueX for short, is a website where you can invest some money to create employment. But the RueX is very different to a donation site where you donate money with the hope that a non-profit will make a sustainable difference. Instead, the RueX is more like Amazon, where you buy a product and you physically get it and you see if it works, and then you can give a bad review or an excellent review based on the product you've seen and used. And that's why online stores have been so successful. And the RueX works in the same way. You can create employment based on what you see. It's not just a donation, it's an investment. Wow. But how does your investment create jobs? Well, the RueX works in 3 steps. These steps involve communities, businesses, and employees. So the first step is communities. The RueX engages with groups of people living in the same area, in a poor area, which we call a community. Why work with groups of people instead of individuals? Because helping poor people is really about building relationships. There will be no making a difference without building solid relationships with the people that we want to help. And we can best do that inside a community of people. And this makes it easier to communicate, do coaching, and see what's really going on with people. It also means that people in the community can work together to support one another because they're all walking on the same journey. People, as you know, are like hot coals. One coal on its own may get cold, but a lot of hot coals together will keep each other hot. And so the value of working in communities is that groups of people will remain hot. So which communities do we work with? We only get involved in communities that take the initiative to ask us to help, and they push to bring us in. Then we have an open door to help people that really want to see change. So let's recap. The first step is to build relationships with communities. Now let's get to the second step, because this will tell you where your money is going. So when we invest in the RueX, we are investing in employers, i.e. business owners. You see, we don't want to try and create employment by giving money to poor people to try and start new businesses. New businesses are just too risky, and starting a new business is a difficult thing to do. In fact, I did a master's degree and I had to do some research. And for my thesis, I chose to look into new business startups in poor communities. My data showed that the rate of success in business startups was so unbelievably low that after a year of working on this thesis, I finally gave it up and decided to change my research topic. it was a very important lesson for me that investing in people to start new businesses is actually a difficult thing to do. And this is why in the RuX, we take the easy road. We invest in existing, reliable, running businesses, and we ask them to grow and to use the money we give them to employ additional people. i.e., that's how we create jobs. We invest in existing businesses. So what do these business owners do with the money that we invest in them? Businesses only have to do two things. They have to use the money to employ more people, and they have to use the new people to grow their business. And that brings us to the third and last step, the employees. When we pay the business owner, we pay half the new employee's salary. And that's usually a low salary because it's in a poor community. And the business owner pays the other half, and that makes up the full salary. So now that sounds a bit worrying, because how do we know that the business owner paid his employees? Because all the money goes through publicly visible bank accounts. So we can see our half of the employee's salary go into the business owner's bank account, and we can see the full salary get paid into the employee's bank account. Now we know that we created a job for that month. And if the business owner keeps paying the employees, then he's going to get good reviews and more investors will invest. Obviously, if the business owner skips a payment to the employees, all the investors will stop their monthly payments. And in this way, money never gets wasted or lost. It's all about direct payments, so you see the result of your payments directly. Now, for how long must we keep investing half the employee's salary? Well, after a period of time, the business owner now has a trained employee who's grown their business. And now they can afford to pay the employer full salary. So now you can stop investing, but you can still see the employee being paid each month. And you've helped to create a sustainable job that pays for somebody to put food on the table. And that's real investment growth. So you've done this in communities, you've invested in business owners, and they've changed the lives of employees. So let's get to the bottom line. You invested some money, so what do you get back? Well, you get back something incredible. You get to make a difference. This is not one of those investments where you invested for a profit and maybe perhaps you'll create some employment along the way. On the RuX, you invest to create employment. So we're going to keep it simple and give you back employment. You get back certainty that your investment went fully and directly into creating a job. And what you'll receive is knowing that you actually changed lives. And in this case, we even encourage investors to come and meet the people that they invested in so that they can see the lives changed. Because the RuX is all about relationships. And that is what will make poor people not poor.